In every generation, there are mysteries the world forgets. Truths so powerful that only a few souls dare hold on to them. And prayers so sacred the early Christians whispered them only behind locked doors, in catacombs scented with oil lamps and fear. Today, you're about to discover one of those forgotten treasures. A secret hidden inside the Rosary. Protected, guarded, defended, and nearly lost forever. Welcome to Faith Flame TV, where we bring forgotten truths of the faith back to life. Before we begin, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. And now, breathe in, open your heart. Because what you're about to hear just might change how you pray forever. Long before the Rosary looked the way we know it today, before beads and chains and meditations, the early Christians lived in a world of danger. Rome hunted them. Their gatherings were illegal. Every prayer whispered in the night could be their last. In those days, believers longed for a way to stay connected to God throughout the day, something that could be prayed quietly, secretly, even while running for their lives. And so, they developed a spiritual code. A rhythm of prayer built around repetition, not because God needs repetition, but because the human heart does. It helped them stay focused, remembering Christ even in the chaos. This early prayer rhythm became the foundation of what would later evolve into the Rosary. But here's the secret many people don't know. Backhand index pointing right, the Rosary was never meant to be just a devotion. It was meant to be a weapon, a shield, a spiritual compass. And the early church guarded this understanding like precious gold. As Christianity became legal, something unexpected happened. Faith became comfortable. Churches became larger. People prayed less with their hearts, and more with their lips. The original spirit, the deep meditative power, began to fade. Monks kept the tradition alive by chanting all 150 psalms. But ordinary people, who couldn't read, needed a simpler way. So prayer beads emerged. Knots on ropes. Simple counters for Our Fathers. But during the attacks, wars, and plagues of the Middle Ages, something catastrophic happened. Many monasteries were destroyed. Countless manuscripts were burned. The ancient prayer rhythms risked disappearing forever. And with them, the secret purpose of the Rosary. A purpose the early church feared the world would forget. Backhand index pointing right, the Rosary was not just to honor Mary, it was to imitate Christ. Backhand index pointing right, it was a doorway to spiritual protection. Backhand index pointing right, a lifeline during persecution. Backhand index pointing right, a map that leads the soul directly into the mysteries of Jesus. At one point, this understanding was so close to being lost that only pockets of believers preserved it, mostly hidden communities, monasteries in Ireland, and a few faithful in the East. Then, something miraculous happened. History tells the story of monks and priests. But there is another side, a quieter, more mysterious side. A story whispered through tradition. That during the centuries of darkness, when disease and war stole countless lives, it wasn't scholars who kept the Rosary alive, but women, mothers, widows, grandmothers in villages. Women who held on to prayer when the world fell apart. They passed the rhythm from generation to generation, not through books, but through memory. One mother would teach her daughter. When fear rises, repeat His life. When darkness grows, cling to her name. When you cannot see the way, pray the mysteries. These women held the Rosary in their aprons while grinding grain. Whispered the prayers on cold nights while rocking crying children. Hid the beads in baskets when soldiers raided villages. Without them, without their courage, without their stubborn love for God, the Rosary, and its ancient secret, would have vanished. So what exactly is this secret? What is the deeper meaning the early church carried, the understanding nearly lost through history? It is this. Backhand index pointing right, the Rosary is not about repeating words. Backhand index pointing right, it is about becoming who you behold. Each mystery is not simply a scene. It is a transformation. The joyful mysteries teach humility, obedience, and quiet trust. Not Mary's virtues alone, but Christ's virtues revealed through her. The sorrowful mysteries train the soul to endure trials without breaking. They show us what love looks like when it hurts, and how Christ responds to betrayal, fear, and suffering. The glorious mysteries reveal our true destiny, resurrection, victory, and unending life in God. And the early church believed. Fire, whoever prays the mysteries slowly becomes the mysteries. Fire, the Rosary forms Christ inside the soul the way he was formed inside Mary. Fire, it gives strength the world cannot see. Fire, it protects the spirit from darkness. Fire, it draws grace into places we didn't know needed healing. This was the secret. Not that the Rosary is magical, but that it is transformational. A school of holiness. A doorway into Christ's inner life. A meditation powerful enough to shape a person from the inside out. This is why the early Christians guarded it. This is why the Church preserved it. Because the Rosary is not just a devotion. It is a path to become a mirror of Jesus. Centuries later, at different moments in history, especially in times of crisis, the Rosary returned with power. From the Battle of Lepanto, to the apparitions at Lourdes, to Fatima, to the quiet testimonies of millions around the world. The same message echoes through the ages. Backhand index pointing right, pray the Rosary because the world forgets what the early Church remembered. Backhand index pointing right, pray the Rosary because darkness still moves, and peace still needs defenders. Backhand index pointing right, pray the Rosary because it shapes the heart to look like Christ. The secret was never meant to be hidden forever. It was meant to be protected. Until the world was ready to understand it again. And today, that message is reaching you. As you listen now, wherever you are. In your home, your office, your car, your quiet room. Know this. You are part of a long chain of believers stretching back 2,000 years. People who prayed under persecution, under fear, under doubt, under joy, under miracles. The Rosary survived war, plague, fire, destruction, and forgetfulness. Because God wanted one thing. That you would hold it today. That you would rediscover its power. That you would remember the secret the early Church protected. Backhand index pointing right, the Rosary is not just prayed. It is lived. Backhand index pointing right, it turns ordinary souls into warriors of light. Backhand index pointing right, it forms Christ within you, mystery by mystery, bead by bead. So today, as we end this video, I invite you to begin or deepen your journey. Pick up your beads. Hold them gently. And whisper with the same courage the early Christians had. Hail Mary, full of grace. Because through this simple prayer, you are joining the oldest spiritual battle in history. One that nearly disappeared, but now belongs to you. Thank you for watching Faith Flame TV. Drop a comment below if you want part 2. The Rosary mystery the saints feared would be misunderstood. God bless you. And may peace fill your heart, today and always.